Hey folks, here I am with a new video, and the topic of today is red flags when dating Filipinas. But this also actually applies when you date Thai woman, Indonesian woman, probably also Cambodian woman, and so these type of Southeast Asian women. I've dated many Filipinas during the past years, and also Indonesians and some Thai women. And today I want to talk about some typical red flags when dating, when meeting these women, especially Filipinas. All these red flags are based on my own experience. There are certainly more red flags, but I just want to give you the most significant ones, the ones I experienced a lot. So the first one is asking for money, and that can be directly or indirectly. Most of the time when Filipinas, actually before I want to go into this red flag thing, I want to mention one more thing. It's very important. The probability is higher when you date a certain category of women. And I went into this topic in my last video from last week, where I talked about the, let's say, two main categories of women in the Philippines. Yeah, so you want to watch out if you want to date women in a bar, in a girly bar, you know, let's say in Angeles City or in Manila. Or you want to date a woman online. There the probability is much, for bar girls for sure. Bar girls are all about the money. This is purely transactional. I think that's common sense. It's just logical, you know. They are in the business to make money. They want your money. They don't want your body. They don't want your handsome face. They don't want your status, nothing. They just want your money. You have to understand that. The same applies to Thailand and to certain other countries as well. So the online dating thing is very similar. A high percentage of these women are just there to gain something financially at the end of the day. So you will, when you date these women, either in a bar or mostly online, you will hit on these red flags more likely. But also, of course, you will meet Filipinas on the street, in the restaurants, in the movies, in the mall, whatever. And the red flags I'm giving you here should be kind of a guideline to look and to watch out for when you hit these, when you hit on these red flags, that you hopefully get a little bit suspicious and think twice. So that can happen with any category of woman. So, but what happened to me mostly and most of the time is really they ask for money. Yeah, either straight away, for example, do you have 500 peso for me, or can you borrow me 2,000 peso? Because my grandmother is sick, or I need the money for a TV, or I need to pay the tuition for my child, you know. Or I need money for my brother's business. So they will come up with a variety of excuses and reasons why you should borrow them money or give them money. By the way, if you give that money, you will never see it back again, okay? I've done it, I think, a couple of times where I handed out some money and I never saw it back. But it was, yeah, I remember one time it was $500, but that's a long time ago, you know. And I never saw that money back. So asking for money, especially in the first few days, weeks, or even months, we have to be very suspicious, okay? Give me a second, I just need my towel, because it's very hot here, you know, it's very humid today. So this asking for money thing, you know what happened to me? I dated a girl online. I didn't date her. I just started to chat with her online, and I think after 5 minutes she asked me already for money. So stay away from these women, you know, get rid of them immediately. Also, which relates to asking for money is like when the girl would say or ask you, hey, can we go to the mall, you know, and be suspicious when you hear that, you know, especially in the first few days or weeks of meeting or dating, you know. And let's say you decide to go with her to the mall, and the next thing would be if she would ask, you know, can you buy me a phone or can you buy me a handbag? So that's a red flag, you know. This woman is not really serious about you, it's just serious about your money. So stay away from these women, cut them short, get rid of them, you know. Most of the time they will insinuate, yeah, they will not ask directly, you know, for money or for a handphone or for a handbag or for something else. I remember a few weeks ago when I came to the Philippines, I had 2 dates basically, and the first date I had, before I had the second date, the one I talked about in my previous video, I met this girl in the mall. She showed up at our meeting place, and the first thing, by the way, another red flag is when she has a tattoo on her, you know, breast here or something like that. This is mostly a sign for a bar girl or a prostitute, in my opinion, in my experience. So anyway, this girl had a tattoo here, and I was already like, you know, I actually don't want to continue to date this girl, but so I wanted to be polite. We hang out a little bit, you know, we had some coffee, blah blah blah, then we had some lunch, blah blah blah. I paid, blah blah blah, of course, you know. And later she told me that when we actually were finished with the lunch, we just went back to the mall, we were walking around a little bit, and then she asked me if I could give her some money, or if I could help her to buy some food for her little baby son, you know. And so this is kind of how they do it, you know. They insinuate, they are not direct, they are just in there, they say, you know, my little baby is also very hungry, you know, and this and that, and I have no job, and blah blah blah, you know. They're beating around the bush, you know. But the message was clear to me. And then when she brought up her little baby boy, of course, you know, we men are problem fixers, so we want to help, we want to help out. And then at the end of the day, I was giving her 1,000 peso. Yeah, some of you might laugh now and think what kind of idiot I am. And maybe I was an idiot. Yeah. So it's also one thing of making these videos and talking about these red flags, you know, and it's also one thing of you just watching these videos, you know, and then listening to my stories or to other people's stories, right? And then you can sit there and say, yeah, look how stupid that guy is. I would never do these mistakes, you know. I'm all so smart, I'm all so clever, you know, I have all the street smarts, I can discern, I can apply my proper judgment. That blunder, that mistake would never happen to me. But you see, you know, when you are in the dynamics of dating, when you're really in touch and in contact and in interaction with this girl, I want to see you, you know, then, because now you're just watching, you are emotionally settled, you're detached, you know. But I want to see you. If you are interested in a very beautiful and sexy Filipina, and you know your emotions run amok a little bit, and you got emotionally engaged, you know, then I want to see you, how you behave and how you handle all these situations. So, you know, they play these, and they know how we tick also, so they play these games, at least they try to play, you know, and most of the time probably they are successful. So in my case, I felt also a little bit guilty, you know, because I knew I was the guy with the money, and you know, all these kind of weird dynamics, you know. But I learned from my mistakes as well. So the next time I will not consider giving any money. Another thing which connects to asking for money is basically if the girl asks or suggests to you whether or not you can take her on a trip to a different province, let's say to Boracay, to Palawan, to Bohol, or any kind of pretty nice and beautiful places in the Philippines. Yeah, she will not ask directly, but she will like insinuate this. Like, for example, oh, I always wanted to go to Boracay. but I never had the money, or I always wanted to go there because all my friends have been there already, or I'm dreaming of going to Boracay because I just saw a Facebook post of my friend. You know, they're insinuating, and you then feel like of helping out, fixing the problem, you know. And this is what happened with my latest date in the Philippines. This girl was like suggesting that, you know. And but in my case it was a little bit different because I wanted to travel anyway around the Philippines, so it was a welcoming fact that she suggested that. So during that time I did not see this as a red flag, but in hindsight I knew, now I know it is a red flag, definitely. What else I have here? Yeah, when the girl you date is always on her phone, this is another red flag. This is also a mistake I made earlier. This also happens with Thai girls a lot, especially when you meet a certain category of women, especially when it's a bar girl. You know, these girls are busy, they have multiple customers and dates and stuff like that. So don't be surprised if you take out a bar girl, for example, and she's constantly on her phone while you have dinner or lunch, or you're traveling around the country. Yeah? So Filipinas and Thai girls are the same in that aspect. So she will be constantly on the phone. So this is something you have to watch out for. This is a big red flag. Next one, if she talks about her ex-boyfriend a lot. This is also what happened to me during my latest date. I did not recognize this as a red flag, so my mistake, I learned something. So when you go and you have to put yourself, like, you know, I mean, you go on a date, right? You want to present yourself from your best possible side. You want to impress that lady. Why should you talk about your ex-girlfriend? For what reason? There is no reason whatsoever to talk about your ex-girlfriend, you know? She talked about her ex, or whatever it was, ex-boyfriend, and actually I didn't see it as a red flag. I saw it actually as a sign that she is transparent to me and open to me, and I judged it in a way that she is like kind of over it already and ready to talk about it. But you know, actually it's a red flag. When she starts to talk about her ex-boyfriend, then in a way she has no real sense, because talking about ex-boyfriend stuff, she should actually approach her girlfriends. You know, that's the kind of people she need to actually talk and want to talk about this relationship stuff or previous relationship stuff, but not with a guy she's dating the first time and wants to impress, you know. Anyway, the next red flag is when she suddenly disappears. You know, for example, let's say you have been chatting for 1 week straight or 2 weeks straight, very often during the day, basically from morning till late night. You have been exchanging messages on WhatsApp, for example, with all these funny and cute emoticons involved, you know, and everything is going well, you think, you know, and then suddenly for, like, let's say 1 or 2 days she disappears, or she rarely texts you. Yeah, this is something you really have to watch out for. This is also a red flag. I recognized at the end of my latest so-called relationship, and I got suspicious. Yeah, because it doesn't make sense when you for weeks or even months chat around, and then suddenly it stops for maybe a few hours or maybe a few days. This is something to watch out for. Next red flag is definitely when you set up a date with her, most likely the first date, and she wants to bring along her friends, you know. She would ask, oh, can I bring my friend along? You know, she's my best friend and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And you might think, oh, okay, this is okay. I want to just make her feel comfortable. Maybe she's a little bit shy. That is definitely, in my experience, a red flag, but not to be confused with a chaperone, you know. I remember one time in Manila a few years ago, I was dating a Filipina, and she told me before we met that she would bring her her cousin along. And I found it a little bit strange, you know, I'm not used to that kind of dating. So I knew I would meet this girl and then she would bring along her cousin. But she explained it to me. I think she was honest at the time. She told me, yeah, this is the way she's dating. She don't want to go alone. She don't want to come alone. She will bring her cousin, kind of a protection thing or something. And I agreed at the end of the day. But it was really an awkward situation because I remember we met in a shopping mall in Quezon City in Manila, and we were sitting outside there having a coffee. We were sitting on one table, and her cousin was also sitting there, a little bit away, not too close, but she was sitting there. But that was really, I think, a chaperone kind of thing, because she didn't get involved in anything in the conversation or stuff like that. And of course I paid for the coffee or the tea. I don't remember what we had, also for her chaperone. So I think that is also sometimes still happening in the Philippines, that she would bring along a chaperone, you know. But if she starts to ask for bringing along like 2 or 3 friends, dump her, forget about her. That's she just want to take advantage of you. Yeah, she just wants to take advantage. So the next red flag is when your eyes almost never meet. And this is also what happened to me the last time, a few weeks ago. I noticed that, you know, for example, we had dinner, and she constantly looked away from me, and I was suspicious already at the time. But this girl was so, I don't know if she was so cunning or so clever. She was, I don't know, I still today did not really figure her out. But either way, she was a master in sending mixed signals. Yeah. So yeah, this that she was not really able to look into my eyes when we were sitting face to face. I was suspicious, because I know from previous relationships where I knew or know these women were really in love with me, you know, they would behave completely differently. The body language is completely differently. The body language is way more affectionate, you know. If you like or love somebody, you want to be close, you want to look them into the eyes, right? This is unconsciously happening. This is not something you consciously do, and you sense that also, you know. I remember my Indonesian ex-girlfriend, she was very affectionate, she was in love with me, so when we had dinner, she was constantly looking at me and watching me, you know, making sure I'm comfortable, you know, she was caring for me, you sense that. But this girl, she always was like avoiding my gaze, my look, and I found it very suspicious, and I talked about with my best friends about it, but they don't have experience with dating Filipinas. So anyway, so she was a master in sending out mixed signals. So at the end of the day, I could not see that or misjudge that red flag. Yeah, and the last red flag on my list for today is when she says "I love you" within the first few days or weeks. This is something to watch out for, definitely, because it doesn't make actually any sense, right? I mean, a girl you barely know, you just been dating for like a few days or weeks. Why should she start to love you already? You know, it doesn't make sense. I remember a long time ago in Hong Kong, when I picked up my first bar girl. I told you this story in my previous video. And her name was Hazel, I remember, Hazel. Probably a fake name anyway, it doesn't matter. So after the first night we met, she left, and then I think a few days later she texted me already, you know, oh, where are you? I miss you, I love you. And at the time, you know, I was so green behind my ears, I didn't know anything about dating Filipinas, especially bar girls. I didn't know about the dynamics. So I was really like, you know, I was really feeling great. I was like feeling like somebody, you know, oh, this girl loves me already, how great, you know. And I thought I made a big catch, you know, I felt really great. But actually she just was doing it to hook up for another date, right? to pursue her profession, right? So watch out for this, for these I love you things and stuff like that. Again, there are certainly more red flags, and I'm glad if you could share them with us and with me also, and give your advice. And yeah, all I can say is watch out, at least for these 8 red flags I gave you in this video, actually 9 red flags. Watch out for this, and you know, what we all need, or what you need, is just practice, practice, practice. You have to get more confident, and the only way to get more confident and to get more practice is really to date these women. And you will make these mistakes, you know, you will fall into the traps, and they will be succeeding in playing you. They will probably be succeeding in ripping you off. I don't think there's no man, no foreigner outside there in the Philippines or in Thailand who was not ripped off in this or the other way by a Filipina, or for that matter of a Thai girl, you know. This will happen, unfortunately, but we all have to learn our lessons, you know, because also of different cultural aspects, you know, and there are so many different dynamics involved, also psychological things. I cannot go into much detail here, but I will do more videos about this, especially the dating culture in Asia is different than in Europe, you know. We are totally different, or in Western countries, we are totally different cultures also. And then also, what is very, very important, I'm gonna make a video about this in the near future, is that the men who come to the Philippines, or many men, let's say, not all of them, but many men, perhaps you can even say most of the men who come, let's say, to the Philippines to date a Filipina, they do this for a very, very good reason. They have certain needs, they have certain needs they wanna get met. Yeah. So these men are kind of vulnerable in some way, and also needy in some way. And I know what I'm talking about, you know. And I'm just honest, you know. I have to be honest with myself also, you know. I had certain needs. I needed to get met, and I thought I found this in a shortcut, quick way in the bars, for example, because then suddenly you get all the attention you always wanted, right? You get the affection you always wanted. You walk into these, let's say in Angeles City, you walk into these bars, and suddenly 20 girls are, you are surrounded by 20 cute, beautiful girls, right? And you feel like a king, you know. So this kind of emotional, psychological dynamics, it has actually to do with the man, so not so much with the woman. But these women know exactly how to play you. They know exactly what kind of button they have to push, you know. So, but anyway, watch out for these red flags, and just practice, but don't be shy to date. And first and foremost, don't blame the Filipinas for being scammers or for being people who rip people systematically off. There are some, yes, and if you want to find them, you find them in certain places, online and the bars, for example. The probability is very high. But other than that, I think and I believe the majority of Filipina women are honest and good women. And with that being said, I'm checking out for today because I'm sweating too much. It's very humid here today. And I'm gonna see you in one of my next videos. Hopefully, take care, bye-bye, and have a good time.